Hello everyone. This looks a bit different, doesn't it? We've got a fresh angle. We've got our live sign on, and you can actually read it. And overall, we just look so much better, don't we? Do you agree? We look so much better. Might be hard to tell, but go back and watch some of the older videos. You'll see how bad the quality is compared to this. Now you might be wondering, what's up? Why'd you change the angle? How come you can see the live sign now? Why is everything so clear? We have to give props, man. We have to give credit where credit is due. Guess who? Darcy. So Darcy provided us with this lovely new microphone, and that's why the audio on the channel sounds so good now. And out of nowhere, I receive a package today with a thank you letter in it from Darcy again, providing us with a brand new webcam. So for the longest time, we were worried about trying to find adapters to buy for my camera, and because it looks so much better, and we were worried about charging the battery every day. Well, guess what? Darcy said, no, we're good. I'm gonna hook you up with a brand new webcam, send it your way, and here we go. What do you think? Looks so much better. We can use our sign. We look good. All right. So huge shout out to Darcy. So today, guys, we are going to be doing what I believe, and I was working on the stream a little bit like off screen. I believe the chat's a little scrunched up, so let's just do that. Today we are going to be working on what I believe is going to be our final back to the basics streams. Now, the back to the basics streams are great streams. It's going to be in its own little playlist. So if there's someone new here on the channel or in the Discord, whatever, in the comments, send them the back to the basics streams. These streams are great for anyone who is new to acceptance, new to anxiety in general, right? But they are also great streams for even my returning viewers to get a little bit of a catch up or a reminder on, the basics. So, interesting idea, right? This brings me to the point of the stream. Interesting idea today. We are going to be doing something that I titled Learning from the Community. So Kate, who is one of our admins here, suggested that maybe our final back to the basics stream should be common mistakes made during recovery, right? Common mistakes made during recovery. And I thought maybe we could also add to that a little bit, and we'll do it where we learn from the community. So what we're going to do is, here in just a minute or two, we'll officially begin, and I'm going to let you guys watching the stream, comment and let me know, what do you think are some of the more common mistakes that people make during recovery? Of course, I'm going to name a few things too, but I'm going to let you guys speak from your own personal experience. What is some mistakes that you have made during your anxiety journey with acceptance? What are some mistakes that you think most people make? I'm going to let you guys put some comments up, and then we'll talk about that. So I think that's an interesting way to do this, so we can get multiple different perspectives. Arlene, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Purple, welcome to the stream. Is it normal to feel a little off? Completely normal if we're talking about anxiety, of course. Welcome, Soccer Mom. How you doing, APC? Welcome. welcome. All right, so we'll give it a minute or two, and then we'll talk about that. Give it a minute or two. Let's make sure that we've got notifications sent out. I believe the bot dropped some notifications, but just in case, we'll send another. We'll send another. There we go. All right. How far into this stream are we? A couple minutes. You know what? Let's go ahead and get this party started. So, our fourth and what I believe will be our final episode of Back to the Basics Anxiety Recovery. Here's how we're going to do this. This says learn from the community. So I want you guys right now, we're going to go ahead and get started. Right now, I want you guys to just go to the comments and list some of the most common mistakes that you have made during your recovery, right? So this should be the final episode that you watch of Back to the Basics. But now, I want you guys to go to the comments and list some of the more common mistakes that you've made during your recovery. What's up, Kate? We were just talking about you a minute ago. This was Kate's idea. I think it's perfect for Back to the Basics. So start listing them. Start listing them in the comments, and then we're going to talk about them. The most common mistakes that you have made while practicing acceptance, right? And while you guys do that, we'll elaborate just a little bit. Acceptance. What is it? It means that you're no longer attaching negativity and worry to your thoughts and feelings. You are giving yourself accepting self-talk, right? Like, it's okay that I just had that thought. It's okay that I feel this feeling. I know the real me, right? This is just a false alarm. You're allowing the thoughts and feelings of anxiety to be, and instead of going the worry obsession route, you are just reminding yourself what we call accepting reminders, right? Instead of going the obsessive path. And then you are living your life. Positive behaviors. You might not feel like doing these things. Do them anyway, just despite the anxiety. That is the two main keys right there. So, comments. Let's see what we got. The most common mistakes that people have made during their anxiety recovery. Pooty. I almost called you Pewdie. Pooty. Welcome, dude. The immediate comfort. Seeking the reassurance. All right. There you go. One of the bigger mistakes that people make. Wanting, right? Wanting the immediate relief. And no, Mint, you are right on time. We are basically, here's what we're doing, right? We're letting people list common mistakes during their recovery, and then we're going to read them. We're going to talk about them for our Back to the Basics stream. So Pooty says, seeking the immediate relief. That is a huge one. That is a huge one. A lot of people that first start down the road of acceptance, okay, I'm going to accept these thoughts and feelings. I'm not going to fight with them anymore. I'm not going to add negativity to them. I'm just going to live my life. A lot of people who dedicate to that expect that to be immediate relief, immediate relief. No more symptoms. Thought never comes back, right? The intrusive thoughts go away forever. The symptoms go away forever, and they never come back. They expect that immediate relief. That is not going to happen. Now, relief can come quickly. And if you're using acceptance, it can take the edge off. But the concrete results, right, takes time, because it takes time for the brain to learn. It takes time for the brain to learn. So that is an excellent one. Do not expect immediate 100% recovery just because you make the choice one time to say to a thought or feeling, okay, this is just a false alarm, I accept it. And then you expect immediate relief. Don't expect that. It takes time. Even after you take the foot off the gas, it takes time for your brain to learn. So that was a good one, Pooty. Let's see what else we got. I like this idea. You guys like this idea? Letting the community kind of give ideas here for common mistakes. My negative self-talk and not truly accepting. So yeah, you continue down the path of negative self-talk, which is just worry, which is just what Dr. Claire Weeks called second fear. So you tell yourself that you're going to dedicate to this thing called acceptance, but you're still doing a lot of negativity. You're still fighting with every thought and every feeling with a lot of negativity. But I've noticed that a lot of people get really obsessive about their symptoms when they're in a discussion. Maybe obsession should be seen as the problem. Obsession is definitely seen as the problem, what we call second fear, right? What else we got? Common mistakes during recovery. The most common mistakes during recovery. Getting discouraged by hard days. I like it. I like it. Getting discouraged by hard days. So that is a very common mistake that we do see people make quite often. Let's say, for example, you wake up today, you had a fairly decent week last week, and you wake up and it's very difficult. The anxiety is very high. The symptoms are through the roof. A lot of intrusive thoughts. A lot of people will give up on their acceptance practice and go right back to the negative mental self-talk, right, aka second fear. They go right back to laying in bed and no longer living life. So that is a very common mistake. Yes, do not get discouraged by the more difficult days. You need to start to see them as an opportunity, right? I'm going to take advantage of this. I'm going to take advantage of this moment to retrain my brain rather than seeing it as a bad thing. I like it. Getting discouraged by hard days. What else we got? CH, thinking worrying will help me. Another big one. Thinking worry will help me. Very common mistake that people make. The worry serves some sort of purpose. It does not. It only serves to keep you in this cycle. So worry to the brain equals anxiety. If you're doing a ton of worry, you can expect the brain to want to help you, save you from this worry. So yes, thinking that worrying will help, very common mistake. And ultimately, There we go. Words ultimately is what got you in this situation to begin with. Let's see, what else we got? But a mistake I would make is giving all my energy into physical feelings and worrying about them. So you guys see the reoccurring theme here. You see the reoccurring pattern. It's always coming back to some form of worry, some sort of obsession, and you're not holding yourself accountable for that. You're letting that habit happen, and you're not trying to work on it, right? You see how many of these mistakes are coming back to that in some form or another. Common mistake I made when I first started was treating acceptance like it was something that needed to be figured out. Oof. Okay. That is a huge one. So, we talk about acceptance here all the time. Have a more accepting attitude. We call that cutting back on the negative obsession and worry. Tell yourself things like, I accept this thought or feeling. If you need to repeat that to yourself, then turn your attention back to living. That's all great. But then people will take acceptance in general, twist it, and start obsessing about what it means, right? So it's very counterproductive. You're just trading one worry for another. You get on board with acceptance, and then instead of giving yourself some accepting self-talk and living life, the two main keys, you just start worrying about what acceptance means. You start obsessing about acceptance. You start obsessing and worrying about acceptance in general. Very, very common mistake. Pooty on a podcast soon. I'm not sure if he's interested in that. I'm not sure. I want to say, no, maybe I've not asked him to do a podcast. I can't remember. Fearing it, trying to fix it, getting frustrated with it, focusing on it, fighting with it. Some of the more common mistakes, one I have difficulties with a lot, is the discomfort of losing control. So, you can see how, when we talk about what are the most common mistakes made during recovery, can you see the common theme here? Can anyone else see the common theme here? So many people with so many good ideas here in the chat on some of the more common mistakes that people make. Can everybody kind of see the reoccurring theme, though? Can you see that? It's always going to come back to some sort of worry. Right? I'm worried about how to do acceptance. Okay, well, then you're still worried. You're not going to get away with that as far as the brain is concerned. I need reassurance. That's some form of worry. Oh, the feelings didn't go away immediately, right? So I must be doing something wrong. Some form of worry, right? So all the comments, which are great comments, by the way, of some of the more common mistakes during recovery, all coming back to that same theme. I'm worried about something. I'm worried because acceptance didn't bring me immediate relief. I'm worried because today's a hard day. I'm worried because I can't get reassurance, right? So you see how this is all coming back to worry. I'm trying to fix it. I'm worried. I'm getting frustrated with it. I'm worried. Let's see. What else did we have? I can't get my negative, my negative self-talk. I'm so worried about my negative self-talk. You're still worried. How about we just work on the negative self-talk and drop the worry about it, right? You see where we're going with this? So this is all coming back to some form of obsession or some form of worry, right? The common mistakes of recovery are always in some form going to come back to, I'm worried about something. Right now, people have different worries. Some people, like the chat said, some people worry on the tough days. Oh, today my anxiety symptoms are high. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Worry, right? Some people say, oh, well, what is acceptance? I can't seem to figure out what it really means. Worry, right? It's ironic, and it all comes back to this worry. So these are great comments. These are all things to look out for. I'm going to take the wheel, so to speak, and give you some of what I think are the more common mistakes of recovery. And honestly, you guys have pretty much named them all already. The number one thing that I was going to say is what Pooty said in chat, the immediate comfort, seeking the immediate comfort. That was going to be the number one thing that I pointed out personally, because I feel like that is one of the bigger ones. So you start down the path of acceptance, and you start telling yourself accepting things instead of doing the worry or the obsession, and then you look over your shoulder and you say, oh my God, why hasn't it went away yet? Basically, what you're doing at that point is just sticking your foot in the door of acceptance and then taking it right back out again, right? So that was going to be my personal biggest mistake of recovery that I see people do literally all the time, and Pooty already nailed it. Expecting that immediate comfort, because then you're just putting your worry to the side and you're working on it for a few seconds, but then you say, well, why do I still feel like this? So you're taking your foot right back out of the door. You're stepping into acceptance, and then you're stepping right back out, right? And the same concept can be said for, well, what is this acceptance thing? I need to understand on a deep, deep level. What is this acceptance thing, right? And then you're overcomplicating acceptance. So for a moment of your time, you say, okay, you know, I'm good. I'm just going to accept it. I know the truth here. I'm going to allow it. And then you say, am I doing this right? So again, you're putting your foot through the acceptance door, and then you're taking it right back out again. We're not going to get anywhere if we're doing this constant back and forth, okay? I work on the accepting attitude for 5 minutes until I allow myself to go back into the obsession. Oh, what does it all mean? Why do I feel this way? I need to solve this trigger. What if this happens? And so you start to walk through the acceptance door, and then you turn around and you head right back out of it again. That is the most common mistake, and it all comes back to worry. I know the worry habit is so strong, guys, and I know that you're going to have to give yourself some accepting, what we call reminders, quite a bit to keep you out of going the worry route. And that's okay, right? The two main keys will always be the accepting attitude, and that's what we mean by no longer going the obsessive route, and living life. So let's see if we got any more comments here. What's up, Ghost? Welcome. Miss Alien Lady, how you doing? Let's see. Trying acceptance for a day, then going back to looking for the secret detail preventing recovery. Yes, exactly what we just spoke about. Excellent comment. Overcomplicating acceptance, worrying that you're missing something, is also just another form of worry. Do you see how this is all coming back to negative second fear, self-talk, and obsession and worry, and whatever it is you want to call it? Wow, the live sign and face cam look amazing. Look at that. Look at that. You can actually read it. You can actually read it. Were you here? Were you here earlier in the chatment when we gave thanks to Darcy for sending this new webcam? Because that is what we're currently streaming on. We got a brand new webcam, a up-to-date grade A, top-of-the-line webcam, and you can really see the difference. I know I'm like kind of down, right? Like I should be like way up here, technically, right? But it's just, that's what I'm working with. That's what I'm working with. This is not attached to that. So it's like I've got to, you know, I got my fingers stuck. I've got to like make it work. So you might see me like down here a little bit. I'll try to correct my posture. I don't want to blame it all on the mic. I also have just really terrible posture. I'll try to work on that. Maybe we could, like, here we go. I have a crooked ass nose. No, I missed. Oh my god, new webcam. Yes, oh my god, new webcam. Doesn't it look beautiful? So not only has Darcy provided this beautiful microphone and this obviously much better webcam, but she also gifted me the lighting system. I know you guys can't see it, but she also gifted me the lighting system, which was very expensive, by the way. That is lighting the show up. She has literally by herself made this show what it is. She's provided the audio, she's provided the video, and she has provided the lighting. So, thank you so much. I don't know what else to say. Thank you so much, Darcy. Great background. I'm glad you like it, Wolf. How you doing, dude? Welcome. Gotta love the new lighting kit, the exposure and stuff. It's really coming together. So, basically, I'm using blue inserts on the lighting kit to give it that cool effect, that cool tone effect. Anyway, we're getting off track. Tony, what is up, dude? Welcome to the stream. You're constantly trying to figure it out. Is keeping you stuck. Let it go. Couldn't have said it any better myself. So basically, there's a million different mistakes that you can make during recovery. But here's the thing. Don't start overthinking that. Oh, God. What are the million different mistakes that I can make during recovery? All of those millions of different mistakes that you can make during recovery are going to come down to one thing. You're worried over something. I'm worried I'm not using the advice correctly. I'm worried because I'm having a high day of symptoms and it shouldn't be this way. Yesterday was better. I'm worried because I'm not getting immediate relief from this new accepting self-talking living. I'm worried because of this. I'm worried because of that. I'm worried because of blah, 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 blah. Right? So there is a million different mistakes, you could say, that you can make during recovery. But guess what? They're all going to come back to the same thing, and that's worry in one form or another. Mint might be worried that she's missing something in order to reach recovery. While Purple's worried that he's not getting immediate relief, while Wolf is worried that he might not be doing acceptance right. While somebody else is worried about what does it all mean, right? But do you see how it's all coming back to some form of negative inner self-talk that is keeping your nerves fried? It is keeping your nerves fried. The more you worry, the more the brain wants to help you out. Do you see? Your brain is your best friend. It's your best pal. Anxiety is your best friend. It's your best pal. I know it doesn't feel that way, but understand, you're sitting around worried about something, right? Every single day, your anxiety is saying, hey, something's wrong with you, or you wouldn't be worried. I want to help you out. I want to help you out. So it gives you the only thing it knows to possibly protect you with, and that's anxiety, right? So your best friend, anxiety, is saying, hey, you're constantly worried about something. I don't care what it is you're worried about. You're constantly worried about something. Let me help you out. Right? And it's just this ongoing cycle. So all the common mistakes that are made during recovery in some form or another come back to some sort of worry, right? Now comes the question, what do I do about it? When you start to go down the worry path, up here, when you start to go down the worry path, you must have the self-control. You must have the discipline to practice spotting that and replacing it with some accepting self-talk. So let's give an example. Let's say I'm sitting here and I'm worried because anxiety symptoms are high. So I'm just worried about the symptoms in general. Oh, God, I hate this. What if this turns into a panic attack or something, So I catch myself doing that. Oh man, I just caught it. I'm up in my head with all that negative second fear self-talk. I catch myself doing that, and I replace that with something like, you know what, anxiety, you're allowed to be here. I've experienced this before. I can see it through again, right? Keep it short, sweet, and simple, and then go right back to whatever you were doing, whether you were playing a video game or walking your dog or doing the dishes, doesn't matter, right? So that is the two main keys functioning together in perfect harmony. It's about shutting down that second fear worry, right? And instead just accepting the thoughts and feelings by giving yourself a nice little accepting reminder and then getting right back to living. That is the two main keys, that accepting inner voice and those positive behaviors. Those two things together create a brain that's in the process of learning a better way, right? A brain that's in the process of learning a better way. So you see how we can talk about common mistakes that are made during recovery all day long, but it's always going to come back to the same thing. Some form of mental negative inner dialogue related to this or related to that, kind of irrelevant what it's related to. But do you see how it all comes back to that? In the middle of a huge panic attack, congrats, you have an opportunity here. I'm facing it and floating with it and working on acceptance. Do I sit here in my car and let time pass and focus on my internal feelings? I just let drive. You can do whatever you want to do as long as you're not in your head adding a bunch of negativity to the fire. As long as you're not in your head adding a bunch of fuel to the fire. You might be tempted to do that, but let's replace that with what Dr. Claire Weeks called the accepting inner voice while you see it right through. She also said that, see it right through, right? New setup is wonderful. I'm glad you guys like it so much. I really do love it. Again, huge shout out to Darcy. Darcy, thank you so much for all that you do for this channel. I really do appreciate you. All right, guys, so we're going to get us some music going because I think that's going to be the end of the point of today's stream. I mean, we went over quite a few different examples there of common mistakes made. So let's get us some music going. I feel like this was a good way to wrap up the Back to the Basics stream. Hopefully keep people out of those trains of thought that are just very unhelpful. What do we want to listen to today, chat? Some Miami Vice? That's always a good choice, right? That's always a good choice, right? I think so. Let's see. Let me turn it up a little bit. There we go. Can you hear it? Can everybody hear it? We good? Beautiful. I think this camera's got like an autofocus feature, but I haven't really learned the ways of this new camera yet. So you'll have to give me some time. Keep accepting, even though you don't see immediate results, it's never worth logging into the obsession and the worry. Never worth it, even if you don't see immediate results. Never worth it. Never worth it. Gotta work on my cold now. See you guys later. Hey, appreciate you stopping by, Purple. I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna get something to drink. No, damn it, I used the wrong screen. I used the wrong screen. It is not the end. It's not the end, I promise. I promise it's not the end. I didn't click the BRB screen, I clicked the end. My bad. My bad. No, it is not over. It is not over. Wow, and that's really loud. Man. Get it together. I've got to get it together. What is happening? I came back and noticed I'd clicked the wrong screen there. All right. All right. It is not the end. It is not the end. I find if I try to say anything to myself or reassurance myself out loud, I accept these thoughts and feelings I get a huge anger response. So basically, you're not used to it, right? You're not used to it. You're not used to acceptance. Of course, you're not. It's not the habit right now. The habit is the opposite. So it's gonna feel a bit unnatural to you. It's gonna feel a bit strange to you. It's gonna feel a bit odd, right? And I think it's also important to mention. It's also important to mention that you don't necessarily have to be this person who goes around with the accepting inner voice 24 hours a day. It can really help in the moment. It can really help in the moment, right? But as long as you're not adding second fear, you don't necessarily have to be in your head giving yourself, accepting what I call accepting reminders. If you're not adding worry or second fear and you're just able to be with the moment as it is, then that's great. As long as you're not adding the second fear and worry, we're on the right track. Now, sometimes what I call accepting reminders can help you get there, but if you're not adding the worry, if you're not adding the second fear, then you don't really, you might not need an accepting reminder in that moment. You can just be with the moment as it is. You're not adding second fear. You're not adding worry. That's fine too. The accepting reminders exist just to get you out of that negative headspace where you're adding so much worry and fear, second fear, right? Wow, man, I know. I'm off today. Who was it that said the other day, I bought you a little something from your wish list? Did you get that yet? I did not. It got canceled. I don't know why. I think it. I don't want to say wolf because I'm not 100% sure. But I'm glad you brought that up because I was gonna let them know. For some reason, it didn't go through. It got canceled, which is no big deal or anything. But I just don't want you to think I got your gift from my wish list and I'm just like ignoring you and not giving you a shout out. That's not the case. I checked it again and it was canceled. It didn't go through. So I don't know what happened there. I'm not ignoring your gift. I never got it for some reason. I wonder, bro. I'm ancient around here, healed as fuck. Still, thank you, big dog. Love you, man. Love you. Good to see you. It's been a while. It's been a minute. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, what Dr. Claire Weeks called the accepting inner voice literally is just to keep you out of that obsessive second fear worry stuff, right? If you're not doing the obsessive second fear and you're just with the moment as it is and you're not judging it, you're not adding worry, you're not adding obsession, then you don't necessarily need the accepting reminders, right? Those are just a little tool that you use to keep you out of doing the worry and the second fear and all that other good stuff. You should really try to expand your platform. There are so many people that need to hear this. I agree. I've been on TikTok. If you guys want to follow me over there, shameless self-promotion, but I've been on TikTok. If you want vacate fear, if you want to check me out over there, my TikToks are horrible, but I'm trying. What, it got canceled? Yeah, dude. I don't know. I know you have trouble using the PayPal link and stuff where you're in, I think you're in a different country. Maybe that had something to do with it, and your bank or something was just like, nah, we're not doing this, and it canceled it. I'm not really sure. It's no big deal. It's not the end of the world. I don't want you to think I ignored your gift or something. I just didn't get it. Hey, Wonder Bro, the physical symptoms and feelings always trigger my anxiety. What you mean to say is the physical symptoms, which is the anxiety itself, always trigger your worry. That's what you mean to say. So, hey, Wonder Bro, the physical symptoms and feelings of anxiety always trigger my worry habit. There you go. That's a better way to put it. So we can work on this. We can start to catch that worry habit. Use some accepting inner voice, right, instead, and then turn the attention back to living. Two main keys right there. Do I need to validate my feelings first? It really depends on what you mean by that. So basically, you could say to yourself that you could say, well, I really don't like these feelings, and that's okay, because I don't expect anyone here to like the feelings, right? You don't have to like the feelings, but here's the thing. You don't have to like them, but you can still not add second fear to them, right? I don't expect anyone in here to jump up and down in joy over their symptoms, but at the same time, just because you don't like them or even hate them, doesn't mean you have to be adding what we call worry, second fear, obsession to them, right? So you can be not a big fan of your anxiety symptoms, but at the same time, even though you're not a big fan of them, you can be not adding worry to them and obsession and second fear. Y'all listen to this brain lord. That's a new one. I've never heard that one before. Listen to this brain lord. He knows the way I'm healed because of him. Many things. Trying to get my girlfriend to practice for ages, but some people just won't. One day, right? But thank you so much for that, dude. I appreciate it. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So what do you guys think? You like the new setup? You like the visuals? You like the visuals? Another huge shout out to Darcy for hooking me up with all this cool stuff, man. I mean, literally everything that you see here, the lighting, the new camera, the microphone, everything, thanks to Darcy. Absolute legend. I appreciate the gifts. Thank you so much. Show her all the love in the world. That's why we're not on post stream today, if you've noticed. We're not on post stream because we're celebrating the fact that this just looks so much better than it used to look. It just looks so much better than it used to look in here that I can't make myself go to post stream. See, I should be like this. I should be like this, but that requires good posture. You know what I mean? Who's got time for that? Not me. Crooked ass nose. See, now you can see all of my imperfections. All right. Amazing setup. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. You guys should stay on to me about my posture, and let's see if we can work on it together. I'm gonna see how long I can sit here with my back straight instead of like this with the big hump in my back. I'm gonna see how long I could do it. It's a little bit closer too. I put the camera a little bit closer. Amazing setup. I appreciate it, Mint. I love it. It looks so fresh. Top-notch stuff. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, Kate. I hope you're having a great day. Doing a bit better today. Gratitude defo helps. I think that's what's missing in most people's recovery. Well, gratitude is really just a form of accepting inner talk, right? It's a form of positive thinking. Now, I don't use the term positive thinking a whole lot here because people then try to fight their thoughts, and that's not what that's about. I use the saying accepting thinking, right? Accepting inner voice. So you're not fighting with the thoughts. Oh God, that won't happen because of this, and that. You're not fighting with the thoughts, right? You're just using accepting voice. I accept your presence, right? I mean, that's just one of many different examples that you could give there. But I agree, gratitude is amazing. Gratitude is awesome, but I'm just trying to get people to understand how it all comes back to basically what you're telling yourself. What is gratitude? Something that you're telling yourself. What is accepting self-talk? Something that you're telling yourself. What is worry? Something that you're telling yourself. Do you see how it all comes back to something that you're telling yourself, right? It's all the same shit at the end of the day. And if you're telling yourself very fearful, negative things, you're going to get very fearful, negative results. I mean, that's just as elementary as you can make it. The problem is not that it's not simple to spot your negative self-talk and turn it into accepting self-talk. That's a very simple concept to understand. The problem is people aren't doing it, and they're not doing it because it requires hella effort. You're in a habit of doing this worry, negative self-talk, and then when you catch that and say something to yourself like, you know what, we're going to head a different direction. I know the real me. I'm going to accept this experience. You got to do that quite often, or else you just get sucked right back into the worry. So it's not that it's not a simple concept, because it is. It's that people don't realize how much work it takes, and it does take a good bit of work. You're so used to just allowing yourself to go down the obsessive path. With your new mic, I can hear you better. Yes, I'm so thankful for the mic. I'm so thankful for all of this. Let's see. They should have a medication that stops the adrenaline shooting off and causing the symptoms. Getting to know getting to the mechanics of the problem. They do make a medication that stops the adrenaline shooting off and causing the symptoms, and it's called acceptance. However, the difference between that and an actual pill is that acceptance takes work and it takes time, right? And it takes a lot of work and it takes time. So they do make a great medication that is side effect free, and it's called acceptance. It's called the Accepting Inner Voice and Living Life. They make a wonderful medication called the Two Main Keys. The only difference is this medication does not come in the form of instant relief. This medication comes in the form of hella effort and time. Right? So it's not as to the point, but it will get you where you're wanting to go, I promise you, if you're willing to dedicate truly to it. So that means every time, and I know you're not going to catch it every time, I know you're not going to be perfect because nobody's perfect. You're literally a human being. But as often as you can, that's a good way to put it, spot your negative, obsessive, second fear self-talk and turn that into a nice little accepting statement and get back to living your life. The two main keys, the two main keys, the two main keys. There you go. Don't forget to leave a like. Thank you, Kate, for reminding everybody because I definitely have not done that. Just recently learned from psychotherapist, did I say that correctly? That posture should be straightened by tilting the pelvis forward instead of back. Counterintuitive, just like anxiety. Tilting the pelvis forward instead of back. So what am I? I'm tilting it back right now, I believe. Pelvis. Where's your pelvis is like your crotch, right? That's your pelvis. Tilting the pelvis forward? I just feel like I'm sticking my gut out. Is that correct? I don't know. I don't even know if I've got the pelvis right.
Donation.
Soccer Mom! Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Soccer Mom making it rain first today with a $20 tip says, sometimes I worry without even knowing that I've been worrying for who knows how long. Welcome to anxiety recovery. That is extremely common. So that is why you hear me say all the time, you don't have to be perfect, because I understand that you can be in your head adding a ton of second fear for prolonged periods of time and not even realize it, right? I understand that, and that is okay. Just try to make it more and more common that you do realize it. Try to build on that. Try to build on the habit of self-awareness, right? You don't have to be perfect, but you can definitely start to practice that. And when you do catch yourself up in your head adding what Dr. Claire Weeks called second fear, you can give yourself some accepting inner voice, as she called it, and then go back to living and be proud of yourself for doing that. Like you have a bee stinger and point it at the ground. A bee stinger instead of point it. So my ass, point my ass at the ground and not back. Is that what you're saying? You don't have to say pretend you have a bee stinger. Just tell me to point my ass at the ground. That works too. But see, when I do that, I feel like I'm getting lower and lower. I'm getting lower and lower, Mints. I don't think that's what we're going for. This feels good. Like I could do this. This feels okay. But it's still gonna be a little bit painful, right? Like regardless. Like it's still, anytime you go to correct your posture for a little while until it becomes like your body gets used to it, I guess it's still going to be a little painful, right? Or no? Should it not be painful at all? Like what's the deal with that? Should it not be painful at all? If it's painful, you're probably doing it wrong, right? Hey, what's up, Brett? Suffered with anxiety state for 20 years, did extensive study on the amygdala HPA axis and creating neural pathways. I've also studied and broke down the... We'll see what the second part of that comment is before we comment on it. My anxiety has turned really bad again, and that's okay. So let's drop the judgments. Let's not say my anxiety has turned really bad again. Let's say my anxiety is high again, right? Just right there, that's already a small change in your inner dialogue that's going to make a difference, even if you can't see the difference. So you can see that second fear comes in the form of negative self-talk. That's really all second fear is. The only reason Dr. Claire Weeks put it like that is because she knew that symptoms and intrusive thoughts, like, oh, I might, jump out of a window, whatever, she knew that these things were kind of uncontrollable, while you're sensitized. So she called that first fear. Second fear is what she called the negative inner dialogue. So basically what she was saying, if you want to simplify it, all she was really saying was, you're going to have these symptoms, these physical symptoms, and these intrusive thoughts, and it's your job to not be negative about them. That's really all she was saying. That's all she was getting at the end of the day. Just don't squish the small of your back like Little Mermaid on the cliff. That's the common mistake. I see what you're saying, because you're referring. Are you referring to the picture of Ariel where she's the hell? I got the neck of a pit bull. I don't like this HD thing. We're gonna go back to blurry. I believe. Let's go into our settings. Let's turn the sharpness way down there. There we go. That's what I'm used to. When I get symptoms, I accept just fine and keep living, but then a random thought comes up saying it's still there after this long, blah, and I start getting worried since it's lasting longer. Any tips? So, you can already see the mistake that you're making. You say it's still there after this long, blah, so you might get that thought, but then you follow it up with more worry. That's what's got to come to an end. That's where you've got to do some work. So, you can have the thought that says, oh God, this is going to continue, blah, 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 but you got to have the self-awareness and the dedication to recovery to say something along the lines of acceptance instead of continuing the worry. You see what I'm saying? You've got to say to that thought, that's okay that I had the thought, right? You go back to living, or you got to say to that thought that says, oh, it's going to continue going, you got to say, I'm going to see it right through, right? I've been here before. I don't know what you want to tell yourself. That's personal. That's up to you. Whatever speaks to you. Keep it short, sweet, and simple. But see, you have the thought, but then you carry on the worry. That's a choice. And you're already aware of it because you already said you're aware of it, right? Wonder Bro, you should try some yoga. That would be very interesting. I know what picture you're referring to, I believe, Mint. Let me see if I can find it. I know what you're referring to. Where is it at? I've got it in my head. Is this the picture that you're referring to? Hold on. Hold the phone for a second. This one right here? Is this it? So that's exactly what I was doing, actually. So I must be making a mistake because that's exactly what I was doing. I was like this. But you're saying it should be more. Yeah, it should be more. Okay, I gotcha. I think I'm catching on here. Yeah, that's exactly the mistake I was making. I was up here like this. I need to be more relaxed with that. Gotcha. I'm learning things today. I'm learning correct posture today. Why does everyone assume that he listens to me? Don't know. Senior page, you had part 1 through 3. Can you explain what that's about? They're just on different topics. It would be hard to go over all 3 of the streams. I can pull them up and tell you the gist of them. Let me see. If I could get YouTube to load. Why is YouTube giving me so much trouble today? I will never understand. Let's see. I can give you the gist of the 1 through 3 on the Back to the Basics streams. They're going to be in their own playlist, by the way, guys. If we have any newcomers here that want the most direct way to catch up with what we talk about here, send them the Back to the Basics playlist. That's the whole point of this. In part 1, we talked about how anxiety and panic attacks will not harm you. For a newcomer who does not know that, that is very beneficial. In part 2 of Back to the Basics, we talked about thoughts versus worrying. So some people blame all of that negative self-talk that they do on their mind. Oh, this is my mind's problem. No, it's your problem. You are partaking, right? You're partaking in this negative worry. And it's something that you can replace with the accepting attitude. Why does it say my chat's disconnected? Are we good? Are we good? Thanks for that, YouTube. In part 3, we talked about how healing from anxiety works. So basically, we just went over the fundamentals of, it can take some time. It takes time for the brain to learn. And today in part 4, we're talking about common mistakes made in recovery. So actually, there probably will be a part 5. I take back everything I said earlier. There probably will be a part 5 because I feel like we need a stream on continuing to live life while you accept. Just continue to live. Don't sit around and obsess or worry. Or maybe we already covered that in part 3 or 2 where we talked about thoughts versus worrying. I don't know. I might be taking that back. This might not be the final part. There might be one more part. We'll see. Is it okay to not follow my positive thoughts too much because during sensitized state it usually leads to a negative ending? Yeah, it's more than okay. It's completely up to you if you want to add to any thought. It's completely up to you, whether that thought even be a positive thought. You don't have to daydream. You don't have to follow up with your positive thoughts. You could just say, interesting, right? Completely up to you. You better keep that HD way up. This is as up as it goes, I believe. This is as up as it goes, I believe. I should be over here. I'm blocking my sign here. There we go. I'll get used to this. Everything is different. The webcam's in a totally new spot in my setup. So I'm like, I've got the cushion broken in, right? I've got the cushion broken into where I normally sit. So now I'm gonna have to break in a new spot. Now I'm gonna have to break in a new spot here. Like how you explained that. I'm really, here recently I've been really just trying to drive home the point that recovery is super simple. You just got to continue living and stop adding so much negativity to your situation. Like, that's really what it comes down to. Of course, you've got to elaborate on that a little bit. People, they want answers. So that's what I'm here for, to give those answers. But recovery actually is super simple. I didn't say it was easy. I said it was super simple, right? But it does take effort. Because you're so used to doing all this up here, blah, 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 all the time. You're so used to that, man. So, that's the part that takes some effort, is that accepting self-talk while you continue on living. And the living part, I agree, can take effort too, because you probably just want to lay in bed. I get that. So yeah, it's super simple, but I understand that it takes effort. It takes effort. Where do we find your wish list? I can grab a link for you if you would like. I think I've got it in the description of every stream, but I think it's a broken link. I should probably fix that. But give this a tap. Give this a little tap. See if that works. See if that works for you. I missed a comment from Brett. The process is simple, like Week said. It may not be easy, but it is a simple process. Yes, exactly what we just said. True recovery lies weighing, reverse engineering the process that leads into sensitization. Great channel, sir. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. You're right. It is the opposite, basically, of what you've been doing. Recovery is the opposite of what you've been doing. That spooked me a little bit. Abraham, dude. Thank you so much for the $5 tip. Says, preach it, Wonder Bro. Welcome. How have you been, man? That puts us at 25. We are on a 127-day streak, guys. That is mind-blowing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, Abraham. Thank you, Soccer Mom. Appreciate you guys. Give them a round of applause in the chat, please. I'm sorry, you don't have to apologize, but let's say I'm having breathing issues due to anxiety. How exactly would I accept that? What do I tell myself, or just ignore it? Even if it's hard, I need to work. So basically, just like we was telling, I believe, who was it? It might have been you. I don't know. We were telling somebody about how, you know, with actually, let me scroll up and let me find that comment again, because this absolutely applies to this comment. We were talking about how somebody mentioned, do I have to give myself the accepting self-talk, right? And I said, as long as you're not adding second fear and worry, no. But the moment that you start worrying about your breathing issues and adding what we call second fear, which is just worry, the moment you catch that and start doing that, then you might need some accepting self-talk. It's just a little reminder to leave it alone and get back to living. You're going to be okay, right? It's a little reminder that you don't have to fight the anxiety. So you might need the accepting self-talk if you start adding worry to the breathing symptoms. But if you're just minding your own business, going on about your day, living your life, and you're not adding second fear and worry to that, then you don't have to add the accepting inner voice. The accepting inner voice is just a tool to get you to slow down on the negative, worrisome self-talk.
Donation.
Jennifer, thank you so much for the $10 tip. I appreciate you. What's that put us at? 35, I believe. Thank you, chat. Thank you. No tip note on that one, but thank you so much. I appreciate you. Jennifer, Abraham, and Soccer Mom. Can we give them a big round of applause in the chat, please? Thank you so much. Hi, hello. Welcome to the stream, dude. How are you doing? Guys, I am sweating. Can you tell? See, I could turn on my air conditioner right here, which would feel really nice right about now, but is that loud? Can you hear any feedback? Can you hear the air conditioner if I turn it on? I have to wipe the sweat off my nose. Hey, pal, love what you're doing. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I appreciate the $10 tip. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, you guys, I believe, can absolutely hear the air conditioner. Let me know. How loud is that? Is that pretty bad? It's probably pretty bad. Probably pretty bad. You can't hear it? Love that you have brought Claire Weeks back. She had it all right more than 4 decades ago. She absolutely did. She understood the power of your own thoughts. And when I say thoughts, I mean your thinking. I understand intrusive thoughts are involuntary, but the thinking that you add to these thoughts and feelings, your worry or non-worry, what she called the accepting inner voice, is so powerful, and it makes all the difference. You can keep setting those nerves off if you keep adding the worry. She understood that. That's why she come up with first and second fear. LASIK eye surgery or not? Big choice there. I was anxious because I couldn't make my mind up, and the thought of someone touching my eyes gives me anxiety, so I told myself ... cliffhanger. Rather you have AC and don't faint out on us. Look, if it's loud and obnoxious and annoying, I will take the risk. I will take the risk of a stroke. All right? Can't tell if my glasses are crooked and bent or if my nose is just fucked. But one way or another, they do not sit quite right. You know why it gets worse when you're at store, meeting, etc., etc. It's however you've trained your brain to be, right? So if you're somebody who's got a specific fear of a specific place because it's a trigger for you, because you've been in that situation before and become anxious and fled, you've trained your brain to believe that's a cause for alarm. So of course, you got to go through these things with that accepting attitude if you want your brain to really get that new message. Simple. Go through it, accept the feelings and thoughts without adding worry to them, and just go through it and live. Very simple, not necessarily easy. It takes work, it takes practice, it takes effort. regular watcher now of the show, folks, keep listening to this message. You don't have to fully understand how the acceptance works. I like that. But also work on the inner voice. Your amygdala is always listening. That was a beautiful comment. If we had a Hall of Fame for top comments, that would be in it, because I love how you say you don't have to fully understand acceptance, the inner workings and the outer workings. It's interesting stuff, but as long as you really work on that accepting inner voice instead of the worry, instead of the obsession, instead of the second fear, all the same thing really. As long as you start to work on more of an accepting inner voice, a more gentle inner voice, and you allow yourself to feel it and just keep living, you will get there. You will get there. I was gonna reach out and pull Nova up here so you guys could see her, but she plopped right back down to go back to bed. Alright. We are gonna switch over. I like how when I didn't mean to choose the end screen, I did, and now that I meant to choose the end screen, I didn't. That's great. We're going to take a short potty break. I'm about to piss myself, and we'll be right back. turn the mic on, Wonder Bro. That would help. That would be beneficial. Nobody tell Sanchez, alright? But I'm about to do the unthinkable. I love water. Yeah, if your decision making turns into obsession and worry, then you're doing more harm for your situation than good. That is a good way to put that. Mint does have a good memory, whereas I have a shit memory. It started to cool down in here a little bit, so we can ditch the AC in a second. I'm actually getting chilly. Yeah, the moment your decision making, your quote unquote, you can call it decision making, but the moment that turns into worry and obsession, you're doing more harm for your situation than good. So that's a good comment, Mint. You see how it all comes back to people trying to keep you out of worry? Do you see that? Your therapist told you this, your psychologist told you that, and in some way or some shape or form or another, they're trying to keep you out of doing some sort of worry. Acceptance is a learning process. I don't know if I reply to that, but it absolutely is. Did you see the end of my story? Am I running away, avoiding anxiety? I'll tell you this right now. The moment you sit around for days on end worried about, well, if I don't make this decision, then maybe I'm running away from anxiety, you're going to do more frying to your nervous system by worrying about it than you will if you just make a decision and go with it. So the amount of obsession that you're doing, well, God, am I avoiding anxiety by not doing this thing? Even if that's true, let's just say hypothetically, yes, you're avoiding anxiety by not doing the thing, right? Well, you're still doing so much extra harm to your nerves by sitting around and worrying about that. You might as well, let's just, again, hypothetically, let's just say, yes, you are avoiding anxiety by not doing that thing. Well, still, if you sit around for 3 or 4 days obsessing about how, oh God, I should do it because I don't want to avoid anxiety, and you really stress yourself out during these 3 or 4 days obsessing about it, you're just doing more harm than good. You might as well just say yes or no and stick with it, right? See, we always want to keep you out of the obsession and the worry regardless. I'm definitely getting there with acceptance. Depersonalization is the one that scares me the most. Everybody's got that one symptom that just makes them tick, so to speak, right? But the more you work with it rather than against it, and what does it mean to work with it? To work with it means to see it for what it is, be with it without as many judgments, if you can help it, and you can help it if you work on it, to just be with it without so many judgments, without so much worry, aka second fear, right? As long as you continue to do that, whatever symptom it is that makes you tick, you can start to work with it rather than against it. My answer is no then. It's up to you. It's up to you. Whatever you want your answer to be, you go with it. I can't make that decision for you. Nobody else in the chat can make that decision for you, and they shouldn't make it for you, right? At the end of the day, that's going to be your decision to make. All I'm saying is, make whatever decision you want to make and go with it. Don't sit around and worry about it and obsess about it. You're doing more harm than good, right? You're doing more harm than good. Claire Weeks talks about indecisiveness being very much a part of recovery and sensitized nerves, and it's true. So either make the decision, don't make it, but whatever you do, don't sit around and spend too much time worrying. Do you see how this all comes back to giving your nerves a break from that worry, right? Worry sets off the amygdala, man. It sets off the amygdala. Worry is nothing more than second fear. Second fear is nothing more than worry. That's all it means. And it's a choice that you partake in. You partake in that habit. We got to get you to try to break that habit with what Dr. Claire Weeks called accepting inner voice and live your life. I tacked that on there. Live your life. And Weeks was onto something as a scientist when she discovered that tension is one of the main triggers to activating the sympathetic nervous system. So there we're starting to talk more about behaviors, right? We tell people all the time, positive body language, positive behavior, live your life, keep your chin up, right? So we tackle both parts of the problem here. We talk about cutting out the worry, which does signal danger to the amygdala, right? So that's half of the equation, the accepting inner voice instead. And we also talk about positive behaviors, which helps show the brain that the danger doesn't exist. That's why the two main keys are what they are. I can't tell if I'm healing or not. I won't even read the rest of that before I tell you this. Do not sit around and worry about whether or not you're healing, because if you're worried, you're going to continue activating the amygdala. Right. You see what we're getting at here? This whole stream, man, we keep coming back to this. So before I even read the rest of your comment, I'm going to say you are screwing yourself over by sitting around worrying if you're healing or not, because that worry is triggering the amygdala. You see how we keep coming back to that, and we will always keep coming back to that. We will always keep coming back to that. We will always keep coming back to that, because whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not, whether you think it's fair or not, your worry will always set off the amygdala. Your worry will always do your nervous system no good, right? So it's not up to us whether that's fair or not. It's not about whether it's fair. It's not about whether it's this or whether it's that. That's just the facts, right? We're just here to discuss the facts. We're not here to discuss our opinion on the facts. The facts are the facts, and the fact of the matter is that worry is going to continue to hurt your nervous system, right? Now, you don't have to be a perfect human being who never worries again a day in their life, but you do have to break the extreme worry that you're doing. Take it to an acceptable level of worry. You're up here on the extreme side of things, though, and that's why you as an individual ended up sensitized. And me too, right? Because we were more on that high end, extreme, 24 hours a day, boom, 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 right? So we got to knock that down a notch. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be this person that never worries again a day in their life, but you at least got to reduce that a little bit, man. You got to catch that, turn that into the accepting inner voice and live. You got to get out of that extreme margin so that your nerves can catch a bit of a break. You don't have to be perfect for the nerves to catch a bit of a break, but you got to get out of the extreme margin and bring that down. Work on it. You see what we're getting at? It's always going to come back to that. And then once you interfere and you use that accepting inner voice instead, then go back to living. Positive behaviors. That's going to help teach your brain too. That's why we got two main keys. Accepting attitude, positive behaviors, right there. I don't want Sanchez to see what I'm drinking, so. Delicious. Yummy. Here's a good way to put it. What are you telling yourself about your experience? And what does your experience consist of? Your thoughts, your intrusive thoughts, your symptoms. That's your experience. What are you telling yourself about your experience? If it's negative, worry, obsessive, whatever the case may be, then we need to change that. You're just repeatedly hitting the alarm over and over. Hello everyone. Hello Sky. Welcome to the stream, dude. Welcome. Things look a bit different around here. I know. Hello, Mr. Artist. Yes, absolutely. Sky is quite the artist. Very impressive work. How you doing, Sky? Let me see here. I'm going to drop a link in the chat for anybody who wants it. Blushing. Hey, you deserve it. You deserve all the compliments on your work. It's very good. Very, very good. Excellent. Excellent. If you want to join the Nut House, there's a link right there in the comments. Last night I worked on my art. I was so proud of myself. That's awesome, dude. Keep it up. Positive behaviors. Positive behaviors. I feel like I'm back to my old artist self again. That is amazing. Don't watch them. It tells me maybe the tiger is still in the bushes. An even better way to kind of elaborate on that a little bit. Don't watch them fearfully. Oof. Let's tack that on. I agree with your statement, but in half and half. Okay, as long as you don't watch them fearfully. So don't watch them with an attitude of when are these sensations going to go away, or don't watch them with a fearful attitude. Don't watch them with a worry attitude. So I'm just going to add on to your message a little bit. Don't watch them fearfully. Don't watch them fearfully. Just trying to figure out what you were brushing. A horse? Shoes? Like the end of Spider-Man 2. I've still not watched any of the Spider-Man movies. Am I wrong for that? I'm glad the air conditioner is not too loud because it was so hot here. Oh, it feels so much better. Feels so much better. Hey, reach out to me, Leonardo. No promises that I'll get right back to you immediately. Sometimes my shit does get buried, but reach out to me on any of the social media. Vacate Fear. Vacate Fear. Just got an email from the National Football League. Don't remember signing up for that, but okay. Yes, exactly, Wonderbro. Great. Yeah, I wanted to elaborate on that a bit because sometimes it is okay to take your attention into your feelings, as long as you take them into your feelings in not a fearful fashion, right? But if you do take your attention into your feelings in a very fearful fashion, then yes, you are going to tell the amygdala, hey, there's still a tiger around, right? It comes back to what? Comes back to that worry. Comes back to that worry. Second fear, Dr. Claire Weeks, second fear. I wish Sanchez was here. I want to show him that the sign's working. Bummer. He's the one who sent me this, by the way. Off my wish list right here. It's so weird trying to point at things right here. As if you didn't know what I was referring to when I said the live sign. I had to point it out because it's not obvious, right? Yeah, Sanchez sent me that. He's a cool dude. And I want him to know that it's working now. We could actually use it. I'm going to a creative writing workshop on romance to further develop my writing. Awesome, dude. Hey, positive behavior. And while you're there working on that, think about it. Think about what you're doing up here. Let's be aware of that. Let's be aware of that. The symptom comes on, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong. You know, the main theme here is that there's nothing wrong with symptoms coming on. There's nothing wrong with thoughts coming on, as long as up here you're not adding a bunch of fear and worry. As long as you're working on that and living your life, then there's nothing wrong with whatever might come, right? Nothing wrong with it. 6 hours long, all right. That'll give you something to do. You're gonna be busy. Yeah, there's never anything wrong with symptoms coming. That's not something you should try to avoid. That's not something you should see as a bad thing. As long as you're not up here adding a bunch of fearful worry, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing that they pay you a visit. Not a bad thing whatsoever. All kissy kissy smoochy smoochy. Absolutely, dude. You'll have to let us know how it goes. Need to go to bed, but I can't help remembering how every morning has been recently. Try to not dwell on it, but I have started to dread the mornings now. And you can easily reverse that. You can easily reverse that, right? Well, maybe not easily, but simply you can reverse that. It's all about what you're telling yourself up here. So you're going to bed and you're already starting to dread the mornings, which means you are allowing yourself to have a negative conversation with yourself concerning the mornings. So how about we change that up a little bit? How about we change the inner voice? How about we change the inner voice, right? A thought might come about the morning. You accept that the thought came, or maybe even a feeling too, both, right? But you're not getting up in your head adding a bunch of second fear. Instead, you're going to say, whatever comes in the morning is allowed to come. I handled it a million times before, right? I will handle it again. I don't know. I don't know what speaks to you personally. Like I always say, that's personal. That's up for you to decide. But you see what we're getting at here. You see what we're getting at here. You see what we're getting at. We are going to switch to post stream for a bit. Some people might call that a setback. I don't call that a setback, Brett. I call that an opportunity to continue retraining. So congrats, dude. Keep it up. Just can't seem to get used to these symptoms. Well, instead of trying to get quote unquote used to them, see if you can get to a point, right? See if you can get to a point where you can allow them to be, and that's all going to come down to what? Whether or not, well, not whether or not, but basically what you're telling yourself about what's happening. So see if you can work on that. See if you can work on what you're telling yourself about what's happening, right? More of the accepting inner voice, and go from there. Don't tell yourself, okay, I got to get to a point where I just love these symptoms, right? Videos, dude, with a $15 tip. Thank you so much. My man is taking us to tip goal. Being so patient with all those damn questions. You're good, dude. You're good. You can't learn unless you ask questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Thank you so much, dude, for the tip. I really appreciate you, man. We're moving on to 128-day streak. Thank you so much. Huge shout out to all of our tippers today. We are moving on. I mean, it's unreal. 128 days. Wow. Thank you guys. I know I always say wow, because I don't know what else to say besides wow. I don't know what else to say. Thank you so much for the $15 tip, dude. 128-day streak. You guys are amazing, awesome, and lovely. I love you so much. Mint is a legend. Mint is an absolute legend. Okay, not letting myself think too much about it, I guess. You're absolutely correct. Minus the I guess, because you are correct. There is no guessing. You are absolutely correct. And when you start to think in a negative way about it, give yourself a little accepting little reminder, and carry on, right? And carry on. It's like the one off the Blair Witch Project soundtrack. Is it? I've never seen it. I've never seen it, so I don't know. This channel should have 1 million+ subscribers. Keep growing the channel, Wonder Bro. Bravo. Appreciate that, Brett. Thank you, dude. That means a lot to me. Thank you. but I just want to make sure it's not a stomach bug. No, it's not a stomach bug. Min's had issues with the gagging and whatnot for quite some time. She's aware. She's aware that it's not a stomach bug. But I'm sure she appreciates your concern. It's very kind of you. Very kind of you. It's funny how these symptoms change every single day. So regardless of the symptom though, remember what we keep saying. The symptoms aren't the problem, it's what you tell yourself about the symptoms, aka whether or not you're adding second fear, right? So you need to try to cut the second fear with what we call the accepting inner voice and continue living your life, positive behaviors. The two main keys, put them together and you've got a perfect little recipe for retraining your brain. So try to always remember that. It's not what the symptoms are doing that's going to be the problem. It's what you're saying about them that's going to be the problem. This was a good one today, man. We're going on to an hour and a half. This was a good one today. Like I said, I'm not sure if there will be a part 5 to the Back to the Basics. I really want to make sure that this little series covers everything, like just in general. And I think it does. I think it does at this point. I might have to go back and watch some of them just to make sure I said everything I wanted to say. But this might be the last Back to the Basics stream. Maybe one more at the most, at the absolute very most, maybe one more. So yeah, this has been a great stream and I appreciate you guys participating in this. Even my veterans here who already know this stuff, I appreciate you stopping by and helping everybody else out in chat. But this has been a great one. And again, Darcy, thank you so much for the new webcam. It looks amazing. It looks great. I can actually use my live sign now. It's so exciting. Thank you for the microphone, for the lighting kit. Thank you for basically putting the entire stream together. I appreciate you. You have upgraded my entire setup, and I couldn't be more thankful for that. So Darcy, I know I say it all the time, but thank you so much for literally overhauling my entire setup. I appreciate you. She ordered these things off my Amazon wish list, and I won't go into the prices or anything, but I will say this: between the lighting kit, the new microphone, and the new webcam, she has spent a lot of money from my wish list on this upgrade, and I couldn't be more thankful. Thank you so much, Darcy, if you're watching this. I really do appreciate it. And thank all of you guys for watching, for liking, for commenting. All the tips today. 128-day streak is just insane. And we'll see what happens. We'll go from here. We might do a part 5 of Back to the Basics. We might not. This might be the end of it. We'll wait and see. All right. I love you guys so very much. We're gonna go ahead and get our song ready. I should have already had it pulled up. What am I doing? What am I doing? I am not on the ball today. Let's get it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. There it is. Hope you have a good one. And until next time, as always, stay awesome.
I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Whatever you want, I'll be whatever you want. Just tell me you love me or not, whatever it costs. I know I'm talking a lot, there's something I gotta get off. Don't wanna be this no more, I don't wanna drink no more. Always gotta do the most, thinking that I'm insecure. Really should've listened more, but I don't, of course. I'm an asshole, I'm a good guy, I'm your best friend, I'm the worst type. Tell you everything that you heard right, just so I can fuck on the first night. Feel like I'm losing hope, running from coast to coast. I don't know where to go, this all I've ever known. I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. No. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? I'm a stone cold killer, I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. Won't die. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? My aunt think I'm perfect. I know I'm not. My mama be worried, I told her stop. They know I did drugs and think that I'm off. Little do they know I never could stop. My manager hate when I'm pulling up late. Back on my bullshit, she think it's a phase. I got relations I gotta maintain. I'm two different people, my side and my main. Yeah, I'm sober, I'm an addict, I'm a lowlife, I got habits, but I refuse to be average. Really so tired of acting. Don't know what I miss no more. Too bad you don't hit me more. I'm bad when I get too bored. Careful what you wishing for. I'm a stone cold killer. I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. No. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? I'm a stone cold killer. I'm a billionaire. I got my own gold digger. If I wasn't this way, I'd rather die. Won't die. Did it die? Wait. Did it die? Wait. Did it die?